Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. I'm over here in Lumpini Park, and I got my GorillaPod thingy. It's not really a GorillaPod. It's not that brand, but I got my my mobile broadcast studio kind of set up here. Just using my phone basically, but I do have a battery, so with any luck I won't die. I did a speed test. I was getting 61 down rather, and about 40 up. So we'll see. We'll see if that yields success for us here during this live stream. I'm anticipating very few watchers actually, because it is, I believe, 3 a.m. here. Yeah, it's literally 2:59, so it's 3 a.m. 3 p.m. here, which basically I'll probably get some Aussie guys, so that'll be great. Good to see you guys for sure. Let me level this out, but yeah, I'm anticipating nobody from the hey Daniel, good to see you, man. Aloha. Glad you're here. So yeah, so I cruised over to Lumpini Park. I met some buddies over at XMAS earlier today, and that was awesome. And aloha, mahalo. Oh, it's only 10 p.m. there. That's right. Yeah. Let me just make sure that this thing. Now I'm underneath. You know, like when you go to the beach in Thailand, they have like one umbrella after another. It's like, you know, umbrella. And I'm kind of basically there. This is here. Hold on. Yeah. So from here, I have like a whole bunch of umbrellas over me, which I think will ideally yield wild success should it start raining. It doesn't look. I mean, it's overcast, but it's getting windy, and as maybe some of you have discovered in the past, the best thing to do to determine whether it's going to rain or not is just watch the behavior of the ties, because they seem to just kind of know. You're walking down the street, like all of a sudden all the umbrellas, like, oh, okay, yeah, they're getting ready to, there's going to be rain. There's going to be lane, Mike. And so, anyway, I brought a whole bunch of stuff with me because I didn't anticipate. Oh, here's the coolest thing. I just bought this, which is a clamp. Now, some of these clamps, basically, like for you to like mount your phone on your motorbike, they can be kind of bulky. And I was like, well, I really want something like not necessarily, you know, well, I want it well made, but I want something that I can like. So I found this. I'm so excited. This thing is going to clamp like onto the mirror or the handlebars, if the handlebars are like really. And then I can put I can basically put a cold shoe on there. I can put on if I have like a couple of microphones or something like that, or if I want to like get some attenuation on the fuzzy cat so that it's not overmodulating. This is going to change my life because I'm stoked. I'm going to be able to mount this on the motorbikes that I rent during my escapades. So that'll be cool. But I also brought some more gear because I was like, okay, well, I want to see if I have basically everything here tested out, so that when I do go away, I'll have everything I need. So that'll be kind of cool. It's nice and breezy. Actually, I really like this. You know what's neat about this thing is it's actually got like a level on it, so I can. But of course, I wanted to. I wonder if these are gonna like fall over. If they're gonna blow over. I got my gimbal, but I'm not gonna use that today. Maybe I'll walk around a little bit later. I'm not quite sure. Problem is when I use the gimbal, I can't connect the battery, so I don't get as much time on the phone. But man, I gotta tell you guys. I mean, I know that you guys aren't here, right? And I'm here, and arguably, it's good here for me. But boy, am I missing Gracie. I mean, it is just like becoming really apparent that that half the team. I mean, this team is not at full strength. If you're if you follow the lingo of hockey, when the other team has a power play, yeah, I feel like the other team is on power play right now, and Gracie's in the penalty box, and I can't get her over here, so it's kind of weird. I mean, I try and keep busy. And the same thing is for her too, right? I mean, she's going through the same deal. Like, she's like, I can't go see Mike. I can't spend time in Thailand. Gratefully, she's got her family with her and that sort of thing. Get Mike to go meet. What do we got going on here? meet and greet here and all of his Hawaiian viewers. Oh, dude, that would be so awesome. Any word on travel restrictions getting eased? So the short answer, Hawks, is that October 1st is the day that has been published for the easing, in the sense that there are certain things like people can come over here provided they're staying at least 30 days, and they can come into Phuket. And they can come in via a charter or a private plane, or one of some flights that Thai Airways actually just announced that will be charter flights, but nonetheless they'll be international flights on Thai Airways, and they'll be from countries like South Korea and I think Norway or something like this. Anyway, there's a list of 5 countries that you know, if you were to hear the names of them, you'd be like, okay, I can understand why Thailand is letting them in, because of course their number of cases is low, the number of deaths is low, the way that they're dealing with, you know, the cleansing, if you will, of the general populace is going well for them. And so anyway, that's being sort of labeled as, you know, they're letting wealthy people in. For a couple of reasons. One is that you know, it's in Phuket, and it's going to be in the resorts in Phuket where you have to stay for 15 nights basically in quarantine, and you can only go with a 1 kilometer radius of where you are, i.e. it's a very controlled group is the short answer. So that's, you know, we're all sort of observing that and trying to determine, you know, whether that's going to be well, the litmus test, really, for when Thailand will open more, and how much they'll open next. Man, I had you know, the sausages you buy like on the street, not like the little, like the lame ass hot dogs that are on the wood sticks. This is like a really good sausage. It was, I don't know, it was almost like a brat. It was really good, and it was 30 baht, I think, and it was great, but it was spicy. And I just drank a whole liter of water, and I just like kind of, I feel some of the spice, so. I know. Quality problems here in Thailand, right? The best food in the world is made on the sidewalk in Thailand for $1. And that's what I just got to go get. It was a little louder earlier, but man, the crows were like really loud. And I've only seen a couple of monitor lizards as I walked over here. The sprinklers were going big time, like way over on the entryway. What I did this time is I actually went over to Chitlom BTS station, and then walked about half a block, and then I walked Chitlom all the way down to Saracen Road, which is like the one that's the north road of Lumpini, and then walked east basically all the way. There were no entrances open on the north side of Lumpini, so I just walked all the way east, and then I walked down a little bit south, and found an entrance just over the other side, which is really cool. And again, if you know anything about me and when I really like to come to Lumpini, amidst the fact that it's arguably a little bit uncomfortable, is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's like the hottest part of the day, and so therefore it's the least amount of people that are here, right? But on a day like today, where I have my umbrella and I'm under umbrellas, it's kind of cool because I can be like, well, if it rains, what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, I mean, my umbrella, I figured out, my backpack, the recent one that I bought is, I mean, I can't like dunk it in water, but it's like, it's water resistant, let's just say that. So the water, if it does get, it just kind of falls off. Additionally, if I hold my umbrella, then it doesn't get on the bag. So I can, cruise around. Even if it's raining, because of course if it's raining, it's still 100 degrees. And so, actually right now I think the temperature is 96, but it's one of those deals where it's 96, feels like, 106. And so I just, I'm trying to get outside. The travel restrictions for me are limited, of course, in the sense that like I can travel basically all around Thailand. But I'll tell you, I went up to Ayutthaya yesterday, however you pronounce it, Ayutthaya, I believe is how you pronounce it. Took the train up there, and that was the best part of it. Daniel, do I have any Thai friends? I do, actually. And then I have acquaintances, right? So I have guys that have like reached out to me and meet up with me and like maybe partner on some things. Oran is the name of one of them. and then I have just like acquaintances that, you know, I'll actually kind of see occasionally. Interestingly enough, when Gracie and I were here, boy, probably like 4, maybe 5 years ago, I was here on a grant, and I was checking out the entrepreneurial culture and the startup ecosystem and that sort of thing. So I was checking out co-working spaces, and one of the places that I checked out was called The Hive. And it was one of those deals where like you sign up and you get a free week, right? And so as part of doing that, the woman who was like, you know, at the front desk that was sort of like showing me all the facilities to get me to, you know, effectively sign up, we connected. And she's, I don't know, I think she was just out of college or something like that. So she was probably like mid-20s. And then she moved to, she had this like deal where she came to the United States. It wasn't like an exchange program, but she came to the United States, and she lived in like West Virginia. And so she would send me these emails. She's like, dude, and she would call me dude. She's like, dude, it's really cold here. Anyway, her name is Candace, which of course is not a real Thai name. It's the English name that she's chosen. And she's very active on Instagram, but she kind of cruises around. So we're like buddies, you know, but at the end of the day, like we've chatted before, and she's asked me questions about, well, I met this German guy and here's what he's doing. Do you think he's good for me? You know, kind of thing. So it's almost like this fatherly sort of advice thing, you know, and I've always told her, I said, look, I'm not the guy to ask for relationship advice, but it was more of like questions about, you know, sort of, so here's what he's doing, and this is like culturally a little bit odd for me. And I'm like, no, guys are going to do that from America. They're going to have this, you know, like, what does dating mean? It's like, you know, I guess I'm his girlfriend because he asked me out. It's like, well, no, not really yet. He's going to be dating a few people, and then when you become his girlfriend, you know, all the stages, right? The differences in culture and stuff. So anyway, it's always been fun to kind of hang out with her. Anyway, so she's here in Bangkok, and she's like, oh my God, we have to get together and have coffee. And so, but she travels, I travel, and she's like, oh, can we have coffee this weekend or whatever? I'm like, well, no, I'm in Koh Phangan. So anyway, so yeah, so she's a friend of mine. But honestly, for the most part, like my true friends here, like real good friends, are one of them's from Australia/UK, and the other one is from America, and well, Dana, right, who I've done the podcasts with, and of course, you know, his life had similar paths to me, engineering bachelor's, spent time in Boston, you know, so yeah. But for the most part, no, I don't really interface with a whole lot. Again, I have acquaintances that are Thai, and you know, and I do feel at a loss for that. I wish I'd had more, you know, interaction with Thais. So anyway, you know, I hope that expands. But, you know, also the other thing too is that, like, when I'm with someone here in Thailand, it's basically Gracie, usually, right? And so we're doing a whole bunch of stuff together, planning our lives together, as well as traveling together. So I don't get a lot of chance to, like, you know, branch out and meet folks. Now, what I would normally do, like if it was just the time when Gracie wasn't here and there wasn't all of this pandemic nonsense, because of where I live right down the street from True Digital Park, and so I would go to, like, you know, meetups, right? And in fact, I'm going to a meetup Monday at 7 p.m. It's one of the physical meetups that actually is starting again, and it's called the Bangkok International Travelers Group. And probably about 20 to 30% of the people that attend are Thai, and they're Thai people who have traveled significantly throughout the world. And as you might guess, even if they've been to the United States, they still have a lot of questions about the United States. And so that's sort of neat. I like to, you know, answer them, and, you know, I try and not come out with a completely cynical answer. You know, when they ask me, they're like, well, is it true that everyone gets like free health care? No, it's not actually. It's just true that if you basically weasel your way into the emergency room and don't have any cash, they have to treat you eventually. So yes, some people look at that as a healthcare plan without paying, but no, if you have integrity, no, there's really no free healthcare. And so it's neat questions like that. But yeah, I mean, I like meeting up with them. You know, the good news is that, like, I'm 52, right? And so, and obviously I'm, you know, Gracie and I are the team. So it's nice because I don't feel as though, you know, if I were to talk to like a Thai woman, there's no hidden agenda really for me. It's like, one of the things actually that I had started doing this was right after Gracie left. There were still meetings that were going on. So there were still meetups, like tech meetups. So there were like pitch competitions, and there were kind of like VC related, you know. So more often than not, a lot of times these startups here will have a woman who is either going to present or she's on the board. So she's in a leadership role or she's like kind of the presentation role. And usually they'll have maybe two people. So it'll be usually, you know, there'll be a guy and, you know, a girl, maybe two guys, one girl, that sort of thing. And so for whatever reason, they seem to be a little bit more gregarious afterwards because, you know, I know this is going to sound silly, but it's the reality, is that they hear, or they see, usually I will ask questions. If they have, you know, are there any questions, and I'll usually ask a question. Especially if it relates to any degree of like telecommunications or IT or whatever. If it relates to retail or something, I just find it academically interesting. But if they're pitching on something that's like related to 5G, you know, a lot of times my questions are, okay, well, your data is technically accurate when you're comparing like 4G and 5G, but the reality is that the world basically never rolled out 4G. The world could never get to the standard, to the speed of 4G, and so therefore they rolled out 4G LTE. So when you're giving the comparison, in reality, the numerical jump between the technology that's available right now, for example, this streaming, with 4G LTE, and then the bump that you think is going to occur when we all go to 5G and it's absolute nirvana and I'm getting a gigabit per second throughput down to my phone, you know, I think that it's important that you get realistic and be like, okay, well, if your technology is based on us needing 800 megabits per second between devices, that will work great in a lab, in a non-echoic chamber that is a vacuum. That will work quite well. But anyway, the point is that a lot of times they end up being women, and they ask a lot of questions because they're like, "Oh, you're from California, and so you must know about startups, and you've been in IT." And so I get it. You know, of all the stereotypes, right? It's probably the one that I'm least bothered by. So I make acquaintances that way, and sometimes they'll follow up because they want to know more. But what happened certainly in the last sort of run of those is that two of them actually followed up. I gave my phone number, my contact number, my business card kind of thing to a bunch of people, men and women. And the only two people to follow up, like followed up and then they followed up again to ask more questions, were two women. And they weren't necessarily CEOs of the startup, I think, but they were like chief marketing officer, or I think maybe one of them was also CTO or something like that. But, you know, so I try and make friends that way, but again, you know, that whole thing is completely cratered, you know, and so the fact that I'm having my first physical meetup of an international traveling group next week over by Asok, I'm excited about that. The last time I was there, it was funny because, you know, I'll come in and I'll sit down. And I think the guy's name who runs it is I think his name is Rick. And we started talking. He's also from Boston, right? So I'm like on the other side of the world, and the people that I end up meeting, it's like, oh, where'd you grow up? 17 miles from where you grew up. Right, and here we are, you know, 12,000 miles around the other side. And so we just started chatting or whatever. He says, oh, you should present. You should definitely present. I said, well, I tell you what, why don't I come to some meetings, and I'll kind of get the flow of it and that sort of thing, kind of find out what people want for, you know, what questions people are going to have and what they're going to want for information. Because the majority of them present and they use PowerPoint. And I do not like presenting with PowerPoint. And additionally, probably the last 5 years of my life, when I would present and I would have PowerPoint, someone else would make the PowerPoint slides for me, and then I would just sort of review them and be like, okay, throw this away, throw this away, throw this away, I'll use this. And I just talk to the PowerPoint slides. And again, I don't have a job, right? So I'm in no mood to really force myself to make a PowerPoint presentation. But the nice thing was there was a lot of interaction, there was a lot of questions at this group. So again, I'm going to go next week and we'll see what the flavor of it is. I'm anticipating, hey, greetings, Gamo, good to see you, man. I'm anticipating that there's going to be a lot of people talking about the potential travel that they're going to do. I know that the two presenters that he has scheduled, they are going to be presenting on previous trips that they took. And I think one of them was like November, one of them is December, that sort of thing, but basically a ton of pre-COVID. Now, can you hear those crows? It will be interesting to see, because I absolutely will stay dry where I'm at right now. I think. I think the rain, it'll come down here, and I think it'll spill on the backside of this thing. So we'll find out pretty quickly if it does start raining. But there's a part of me that thinks, okay, well, are the crows making a ton of noise like that because it's getting closer to it gonna rain, or because they're just like, oh no, the rain's not coming now, we can make a lot more noise. But they're quite rambunctious. And I'll tell you, man, some of these crows, like when I walk down the sidewalk, yes, I can. Yes, I can. What? Oh, Viperuka, hey, good to see you. You haven't been here in a while. It's good. Just waiting for my 40th birthday, and I'm packing my bags the same day. Oh my God, dude, that's so cool. How far away is that? Is that like days, weeks from now, or a couple years? What's your plan on that? That's exciting though, dude. 40th? Oh my goodness. When I was 40, I was still getting my master. I hadn't noticed until you pointed out. Oh, you can hear the crows. Yeah, I'm trying to think, man. When I was 40, so when I was 40, I was getting my master's, and I had only been working at USD for a couple of years, and so I really wasn't in the groove. You know what I wish you could say at job interviews is something around the lines of, if you hire me, after I work here for a year, I'm really going to be excellent at my job. After like 18 months to 2 years, I am going to be a friggin' expert, and I'm going to be able to have an amazing team, and we're going to, because at the end of the day, I mean, when you're hiring someone, especially in higher ed, I mean, it's a decade commitment, right? I mean, it's a 10-year commitment in higher ed. But of course, you can't say that, right? You say, oh yeah, first day, hit the ground running, I'm going to be an instant expert, you know, which is kind of the thing you need to portray, which is false, of course. But yeah, it was very interesting after I had been there about a year to 18 months. I sat back and I just thought to myself, God, it would have been awesome if I could have been honest and they would have been open to it. Because of course, you know, if you say that during a job interview, even me, I interviewed a ton of people. And if one of the things they said to me is, you know, when you say, hey, do you have any questions for me or for us or for the team? And if they could have said, well, I tell you what, how about this? After like the first year, it's going to take me about a year, but after that, I'm going to be an expert here. You know, you think, a year? Like, aren't you going to figure it out in the first 30 days, you know, kind of thing? But anyway, I was just thinking about that. And that was around the time that I was 40. And what did I do when I was 40? When I was 40, my girlfriend at the time, her name was Lara, and she actually took us, she took me, to Catalina Island, if you guys know where that is. It's right off of Long Beach, basically, Los Angeles. And we went there, I think we were there for like 3-4 nights or something like that. It was really cool. We had like a little bungalow thingy, like right there on the area when you came in. And yeah, that was kind of fun. If I look back, it wasn't by any means, you know, the best relationship I've had. I mean, the best relationship I've had is, as you might guess, is with Gracie, right? Because it's the one that has the most sort of common goals and that sort of thing. So March 8th, 2021, dude, that's awesome. I'm a March kid too. Mine's March 23rd. So that'll be good. I hope when you pack your bags later on, we can celebrate both our March birthdays over here in the land of smiles, Viperuka. That'd be great. Hoping that the whole situation, this fades out, so I apologize for having to touch the screen. Whole situation with the virus, yeah, I think it will, right? 40 in November. Depression is setting in. Why, man? I gotta tell you, when I was, when I was 40, I was in infinitely better shape emotionally, physically, mentally, financially than I was at 30, that's for sure. Although at 30, I was pretty psyched. At 30, I had hit some really good goals. I'd been sober for a while. I bought my first house. I had a really good job. I was making a ton of cash. I wasn't miserable yet. The importance of my job wasn't so acute at 30 that I was miserable and trying to buy myself happiness, and that wasn't occurring. But when I was 40, yeah, I had been working at USD a couple of years, and I had kind of been in the swing of things, and it was really cool. So that was good. I don't know, 40 was good for me, and I hope you're just saying that tongue-in-cheek. I hope you don't have any regrets, man, because that's a bummer. Having regrets is a drag. But yeah, I think it will. Okay, will it calm down? Yes. Will it be where it was in January or like December? I mean, that last December, you guys got to remember, like, I mean, I did this video walking on the beach in Cha-am on Christmas Day, and I was like, oh yeah, here's what Gracie and I are going to do, and we're thinking of, when we go back home, I may go back there for like 2 months, maybe 3 months, where we're going to rent a car, we're going to do a cross-country road trip in the United States, you know, all these plans, right? I should actually go back and listen to that video. I don't know if you guys, many of you probably weren't following me at that time, but the video that I did on Christmas Day from Cha-am, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that actually, and see what my goals were then. And obviously they can occur, they just can't happen now, nor for a while, because, you know, again, I'm not gonna go home to Boston area until it's really hot and humid there, and that doesn't occur until July or August. But The doctor says I hit 40 and tried playing basketball with a bunch of 20-year-olds and felt old for the first time in my life when I did get too slow. Yeah, no, I get it, right? I mean, again, when you're 20, I mean, come on, you're invincible, right? I certainly was. 20, 21, 22, 23, even probably up until, I don't know, I would say easily into my 30s. I thought I was, well, maybe not invincible, but I really thought, okay, I can pretty much accomplish anything. And then that kind of ebbed and flowed, and then once I got into like my mid 40s, I was like, you know what, the sky isn't the limit. I mean, I can't do anything. Like, I can't like rock climb, you know, freehand or whatever like I could potentially when I was like 23. Seriously, no notifications? Ah, man. It's funny, you know what, I'll tell you, here's what really bums me out. My mom sends me an email and she's like, yeah, I haven't seen, have you not done videos in a couple of weeks? And I was like, oh man, of all the people that I want YouTube to properly notify that I have a new video coming out, that was a bummer. But, you know, technology. So it's funny that you mentioned that, Aztec, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so it went up to like, you know, 4 or 5 people watching, 6 people watching, 4 people watching. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. And then all of a sudden, I guess it just went like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks like we got about 12 watching right now, which is totally fantastic for an afternoon here in the Big Mango. I should have got 2 waters. I got 1 water when I came in, but now I'm... There's a part of me that kind of wants to walk around. How much battery do I have now that this thing... Well, I'm at 75%. I tell you what, yeah, and I got like, okay, so cool. So this is charging for sure. I'm at 75%. I started live streaming, and it was at about, oh, I want to say, I think it was at about 61. So obviously it's charging while I'm streaming, which is awesome. So I'm going to let this thing get close to 90, and then I think I'm going to pull out the, do the gimbal, and then we'll walk around. And then I'll stream live as I'm walking around, you know, until my battery gets down to like 20 or 30. Because that'll be pretty cool. This thing is awesome, man. I love this gimbal. It's heavy, but it's so fantastic. It does so much, you know. It's really great. So yeah, sorry about the notification. I really appreciate you. How did you find out then? Were you just like kind of swinging by YouTube and you're like, oh yeah, I guess Mike's live? I always wonder, like, when people, you know, when they don't get the silly notification, what ends up prompting them to come over. Thank you for doing that, though, man. I really appreciate it. That's pretty awesome. Doc, you're on the wrong channel. What? I don't get it. This is a really cool attachment. So normally around the base of this, it's just, you know, a piece of metal, right? And so what I did is I got this really cool clamp that's got it's got a bunch of threads on it on one side, so I can put you know, cold shoes and that sort of thing, and then it's got a cold shoe mount on the other side. It's so, I mean, you know, one of the simplest things, right? But totally awesome. Big fan. Big fan. So anyway, man, it's looking dark. It is looking like it is going to. It looks like it's going to lane, Mike. Mike, lane coming. Mike, lane. That's my best Thai impression. How do you think I did? Beach party versus Mike. I enjoy Mike at least as much. Oh my God. I mean, you think this is red. I'm turning red. I'm blushing. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. You having a beach party in where, at Oahu? That'd be awesome, dude. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't, you know what I'm going to have to do? Do you guys ever do this trick? I used to do this when I was doing like engineering and radio all the time. There would be threads on something, right? And you tighten it down, and of course, you know, the compression holds it there and stuff. But what you do is you get, I used to use red just so I could see it, but I used to get nail polish. And I would just dab a little drop of nail polish on the threads. Oh man, it would hold it there forever. Because essentially, you know, nail polish is basically like, it's like thickened, colored super glue, right? And so same Aztec, same. We're all waiting and refreshing YouTube all day just to catch you online. You guys get me. You know how much I love sarcasm. I think it adds value. I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, yeah. So I got the gimbal at the ready. And this is my little, let me show you this. This is my new This is my new little tripod, and one could argue that this is a gorilla pod, right? But the cool part is it doesn't have like the big round things, but the legs bend, so you can, like, you know, if I wanted to like wrap this around this thing, I could like wrap this around this and like do a thing. I just think this is so awesome. Not to mention the fact that it was like super inexpensive. It's made by a company called Ulanzi. There's a couple companies that I use for accessories. One of them is Ulanzi, and the other one is Andoer, and both of those seem to have really good quality, inexpensive products from China. So I've been using those. Let me mount this back in here, but yeah. So I've been pretty pleased with that. And then, you know, you can just flex it, and of course then you can also just hold it. But as we know, due to my caffeinated lifestyle / food intake, I even, you know, with all good intentions, trying to hold something steady is not exactly my skill set. So, hey buddy, great channel, love from Ireland, Dennis. Hey Dennis, good to see you, man. Thanks a lot for coming by. I really appreciate it. That's always a nice unsolicited little thing to say. Appreciate it. Hopefully you share it. Let me know if there's anything you think we can do better here. If you don't know, this is what we refer to as the cool kids table. This actual table is what we refer to. No. We refer to the live streams as being a cool kids table because, again, these live streams are, you know, they're academically interesting if I have no viewers, and I still do them actually, or have at least, but I like doing it with you guys, and I like the interaction, right? And so therefore, the cool kids table is the cool kids table because you are here. So welcome, Dennis. Glad to have you along for the ride. Okay, I'm done messing with that. How's that? You know what, this is one of the things that I really used to love doing as a kid, is being outdoors when it's hot and humid, yes. But being out there when it was raining and being under something of protection and just having the rain come down. Like, I don't necessarily, you know, I've had people say, oh, I really like the rain. Well, I do, if I have the ability to easily keep myself dry. But also if it's, you know, if it's not cold, if it's not uncomfortable and that sort of thing, then rain is, you know, actually kind of cool. Gracie was commenting that she had thundering and lightning last night, and because of the lightning, she said, well, I'm going to shut my data off on her phone. She believes, and I'm not saying that this isn't true because it's true for her, that if she shuts her, that she is potentially at risk of harm. I don't know if she's believes that she's at risk of having herself struck by lightning if she's got her data on her phone. So she will proactively download videos where she's somewhere that has Wi-Fi and then watch those on her phone later. But additionally, she'll watch those on her phone without using the data plan if there's lightning. So, but it's good, you know. I mean, all it means is that Gracie's going to be safer than I will be. So. So don't forget to give the thumbs up. Cool kids table. Damo, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. You guys are great. I love when you guys do that. I'm honored. It's been a while since I've been over here at Lumpini Park. If you remember, I may potentially have commented. I wasn't at Lumpini Park when I made this comment, but I was making one of these sort of videos, you know, that I try and use during the breaks, during the live streams. And it was me over at True Digital Park, and I was just sort of reflecting on the fact that earlier that day, I'd come over to Lumpini Park, sat down like I did here, and I had my laptop up, and I was just kind of getting ready to potentially do a live stream. And this gentleman came in, and he was like, you know, talking with me, and his English was pretty good. He was a Thai guy. And, you know, and he was going through the scenario of basically trying to tell me a story such that I would have interest in his life. And then he hit me with the cold sell, right? Which is, you know, oh, can I have some money? Can I get up, you know? And I gave him $100 baht. And then he asked for more, and I'm like, no, don't. Let me give you a piece of advice. It's one thing to ask foreigners for money. Don't do it twice. You really are shooting yourself in the foot on that one. No matter what they give you, do not ask for more. Anyway, I'm not gonna, you know, I certainly don't have I don't have a PhD in begging for money, and I'm grateful that I didn't have to. But nonetheless, I hadn't come back to Lumpini for a while because I thought, well, if I sit down and try, maybe someone will You know, but again, I got over that and I said, no, look, I'm going to carry my own weather. I'm here, and if something, I will move, or I will just detach myself, or I will set up healthy boundaries and I won't engage. Or if I find that the person is telling me at least some degree of truth, and I want to basically invest in their future, then I'll give them 20 or 30 or 100 baht or something like that. Fine. But when I went up to Aditya on the train, the minute I got off the train, I had that experience with 5 to 10 people. I posted about it on Facebook, and of course, within the first 4 or 5 sentences, several people that read it, the comment, didn't read the whole thing, and got to the point where I said, look, I have empathy for these people. I mean, I know it's really hard. I mean, not only there's people in the tourism industry, and here walks out a tourist, you know, so there's the desperation, and I get it. But man, it was such a hard sell. I was just like, no, I'm good. I mean, it's one thing for me to say my penrai, you know, or no, to say, oh my God, I just forgot what no thank you is. Oh my God, that's horrible. And I know how to say it too. My ao krap. Okay, so no thank you. And I would say that to this one woman, because you know, you walk down the stairs of the train station, right? And of course, I understand that the motorbike taxi drivers are going to be like, "Hey, we'll take you." And then there was the guy with the laminated piece of paper, and they were like showing me, you know, the places they could take me, the temples and that sort of thing. And of course, I'm like, no, I'm going to walk. And they're like, "Oh my God, no, it's like it's 6, it's 7, it's 8, you know, kilometers away." And I'm like, right, I got this. That's kind of like why I'm here, to walk. And so anyway, so I can appreciate the fact that they're, you know, trying to get me to do that. And it's not like I've never gotten into a taxi back when the economy was awesome and there wasn't the, you know, the cab driver trying to sell me to a tour. That's fine. But this one woman, I mean, I would like walk up the street, I walk back down the street, I walk down the street, and I got this coffee, you know, my standard like iced coffee that many of you may get here on the streets, you know, the little carnation cart, you know, with the umbrella that kind of looks like this, for like 20 baht, 30 baht. And I walked back, and she asked me again, and each time I was like, no, I don't, no, thank you, you know. And it just got to be really sort of too much, quite frankly. And so therefore, like I was saying earlier, you know, if I'm in a scenario that I don't particularly like, then I have the ability, thank God, to leave. And so I lasted probably in all, even with the waiting that I had to do for the next train, I don't think I was in Ayutthaya for 2 hours. I went up there, I basically went to, I walked down the street that's right across from the thing. I wanted to take a boat across to the island, check out some temples, but I was getting a little bit too much sales pitch, and so then I walked back, and then I walked down to this temple, and there was a 7-Eleven, so I walked to the 7-Eleven, I got a Diet Coke, walked past the temple, I'm at the temple, and I'm about ready to take some pictures of it. This guy walks by, he's trying to sell me his ring, you know, because he's desperate for money, will you give me some money, that kind of thing. And I'm like, no. And so I basically, you know, went into the temple to seek some degree of privacy, basically, and then went into the, you know, it was nice. Like I went and it was very quiet, and I took some video of it and stuff, but unfortunately, a lot of the video that my commentary was pretty negative, so I haven't produced a video of that because, you know, look it's imperfect everywhere, okay? And the last thing I want to do is be the guy that like puts out this video that for whatever reason gets popular, not necessarily goes viral, but people rely on it like it's a piece of data, like in fact, versus like just Mike's opinion and Mike's experience over this 45-minute period. And, you know, they take it out of context, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy hates Thailand. No, I love Thailand. I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I'm in the best country in the entire world right now. The #1 safest country. And I don't want to have any sort of, you know, publicity of anyone interpret that like I don't like it here, like I don't love it here, like I'm not honored to be here. So anyway. Dennis says, first time commenting, but I'm here since nearly the start, since you had those lovely Jewish-style curries. Oh, the Jewish style curls. Yeah, that was before the ponytail, huh, Dennis? Nice. World relaxed, just joke about the hair in between. No, that's totally, you were here a long time, dude. That was like 2016. It was long before I met Gracie. And when I started doing videos, when Malie was my right, when I was doing the videos from her farm up in Korat. Wow. Well, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by, man. I really appreciate it. I think I remember your name now. So, Viper says, yesterday I watched your stream with you guys planning another tomorrow, if I understand right. Yes, that was the case, and that was because of me and my previously scheduled interviews that I was actually doing for another podcast on Sunday. That then changed till 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, and so therefore, to answer your question, Jeremy's stream on Saturday will occur tomorrow, as it normally does at his normal time, and then he and I, the boys of Bangkok, as we're just sort of labeling ourselves, like there's no other vloggers in Bangkok, right? But anyway, so it's me and him in Bangkok. That's going to happen Sunday at 8:30 in the morning, Bangkok time. So thank you for asking, and yeah, and a couple of other videos I related to, or I referenced the fact that, oh yeah, and by the way, we're going to do, yeah, so sorry. The good news is, though, if you follow Jeremy and you're on his Facebook group, he updated that yesterday, or today, I think, and he said, hey, you know, all live streams this weekend are happening at the normal time. So I believe that's like 9 or 9:15 in the morning on Saturdays for him, and then both of us 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. And oh, and actually, I'm going to do another. I was happy with the live stream I did the other night around 5 o'clock my time, at the recommendation of someone from the UK saying, hey, how about the EU, you know, how about the European time zone? You want to do one? So I'm going to do one Saturday night, actually. So Saturday night, my time, around 6 p.m. I'm going to do one, which I believe is, I believe that's noontime GMT. Does that sound right? Yeah. Anyway, 6 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. Saturday night, sorry, is another live stream. And Dennis shaved head 15 years younger. Yeah, I know. I don't know about 15, but thank you. But let me tell you, dude, oh my God, minutes after I got it done and I walked outside and I'm like, well, of course I'm gonna take a, you know, I'm gonna send Gracie a picture right away, right? So she was the first, so I take a selfie and I send it to her. First thing she responds with is, oh my God, you look so much younger. This from my 30, at the time, 4-year-old girlfriend. And I was like, man, I really blew it with that vanity and this fantasy that, like, you know, keeping the hair that I had. I mean, I did like having a ponytail. That was nice because I didn't get a haircut for like 4 years. I was like, whatever. But I didn't have to. I chose to dye it because, you know, if my hair gets out, it gets gray, and then I look older in my eyes. So, oh my God, the delusional vanity that I was living in. And I have no, I mean, you know, I remember this one guy made a comment. He goes, dude, do you have like a dead rat on your head? And I was like, yeah, I know, it looks like it, right, with the ponytail. My dad even gave me crap. He sent me this article that he read in the New York, or the Wall Street Journal, about man buns and how much ridicule I could possibly open myself up to with this silly man bun. And I'm like, I know, I get it. I should have done this years ago, Daniel. Or Dennis, I should have done it years ago, but I also saw Daniel there. Are there places, school or people who can teach foreigners how to speak Thai? Absolutely. And in fact, I'll tell you what, Daniel, one of the things that Gracie and I had planned to do, the infamous plans, because we wanted to, but secondly, so we could get an education visa for her so she could stay here much longer periods of time, is we were going to sign up for Thai school. And we were going to sign up for language, right? And, you know, that changed, obviously. But I would love to do it because obviously my interaction with the Thais, as I mentioned earlier in the video, when I interact with them on a business basis, they're speaking English, and they also want to speak English. They want to get better at English because they're pitching. They're like, you know, basically asking the world for money. And, you know, if you're in Thailand and you have a Thai company and you're a Thai person, yes, you will ask Thais for money. So that's fine. But if you pretty much want to expand anywhere in the world beyond that, I mean, yes, I mean, knowing multiple languages is great, you know, and if you know Mandarin, that would be helpful too. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're wanting to learn English so they can communicate with a larger audience, you know, and say, hey, here's my idea. So when they see me, you know, and I interact with those Thai people, then I speak English. And so, you know, and obviously Gracie is Filipino. So therefore, like, she and I speak English 100% of the time. When I go see her and hang out in her village, for the most part, people take one look at me and they try and speak English to me to the best of their ability. And therefore, it's even harder for me to learn Tagalog or Visayan, you know, when I go see her. So, yeah, really the only way to do it would be to go to school, and I would love to do that, but I'm not going to do it without her. So anyway, but yeah, there's tons, dude. There are tons of ways to do it because you know, my pronunciation is, I mean, the tones are wrong and that sort of thing. Private schools and tutors in Bangkok, there's hundreds of them. There's hundreds of them. The most silent viewer ever. Yeah, absolutely. Back with when I had the curls, right? Don't be shy here, man. Cool to see. Absolutely. Good for you. Thank you, Aztec. I appreciate that. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Cincinnati, Ohio. You're on the air. I almost worked for that guy, or with him. Good information in all ideas. Only Jeremy would need a new microphone. So I believe, well, I know that I sent him the link to Lazada, which is the, if you don't know, the Amazon of over here, basically. But I sent him the link to Lazada to buy exactly what I have. So that microphone, and then not the actual boom that I have, but basically a cable that will allow him to probably, not necessarily, but probably plug into his laptop and use that. He may have to get a splitter to go into his laptop and use the microphone that way. So that'll sound a little bit better. He's not going to have a mixer, he's not going to have a compressor, he's not going to have EQ on it and that sort of thing, but it does come with a windscreen, and it comes with the front, and it'll come with a boom that he can attach to, I assume, the table that he sits at when he's doing his streams. So yeah, so that'll help it sound. And again, it's $20 maybe. But of course, his priority, if you watch, was tea. He's really into teas, and so he bought these like amazing teas lately, so he's really excited about that. So that's good. But yeah, new microphones are pretty easy. Hey Dennis, yeah, I didn't recognize him. I know, dude. You go back and watch some of my old videos, it's like, what the hell's wrong with him? Look at how he looks. My God, he's insane. Gavin says you had a mullet. Yeah, work up front and party in the back. Boom. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely didn't have a mullet. I had a ponytail. Ugh. It definitely was no mullet. Yeah, absolutely, Aztec. Hair equals, we say, grass doesn't grow on a busy street. There you go. Well said, Dennis. I appreciate that. Hey, here's a question for you. So, I have a very good friend in San Diego, Dennis, but he spells it with 2 N's. I also have another guy that I worked with in IT, said 2 N's. Is there a 1 N, 2 N reason? Like, for example, my last name is spelled with 1 M. Many other people spell Somerville, they spell it with 2 M's. Mine is sort of like the British heritage, Scottish heritage is 1 M. And then the 2 M's is more of a sort of Latin European heritage, right? So like kind of like an Italian or that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I wonder what the 1 N versus 2 N's, Dennis. DENNIS equals DENNIS, right? Thank you, Aztec, for being a master of the painfully obvious. I'm not sure what you meant by that. Today? Oh, got it. Yeah, exactly. The French pronunciation. It kind of makes more sense to be just DENIS, right? I mean, it's infinitely more efficient. But anyway, I guess that's the same reason I use Mike versus Michael. I don't know. Although it's hard for the Thais to pronounce Mike. They refer to me as Mai, which, if you know, means no in Thailand. So my name is No. It's funny, one of my buddies today was asking me, why in the world is your line ID Mike Shopping Mall? And I'm like, well, because when I got my line and I chose an ID, I got line like literally the second day I was in Thailand ever, which was in Bangkok, and I got a SIM, and then this person said, hey, you should install Line, the chat app over here, so I installed that. And my ID was like my phone number, and I didn't know anything. And then I went down to Pattaya, and I realized, like, talking to these people, that they couldn't pronounce Mike. They couldn't pronounce Mike, but they all, because I'd be like, my name is Mike. And they'd be like, Mai? And I'm like, no, Mike. And they're like, Mike? And I'm like, you know, like Mike Shopping Mall, because that's a big mall in the center of Pattaya, and it's Pattaya, and it's been there forever. There's like basically Central Festival, and there's Mike Shopping Mall right there on Beach Road. Obviously, Terminal 21 is the mall now. And then there's other centrals, but the point is that it was easy for them to pronounce Mike when they said Mike Shopping Mall. So I said, all right, fine. So my line ID is Mike Shopping Mall. If you want to add me online, by the way. Dennis rhymes. Yeah, very funny. Dennis, his message is retracted. That's okay, dude. If you were given Aztec crap, you don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to retract that. None of us that are here at the Cool Kids table that are family, we don't walk on eggshells here. So, and I think those guys actually, Aztec's got a wrench, so he could yank you out if you said something that was just ridiculously inappropriate. But I'm more than happy to say COVID and I don't know what else, 19 and I don't know, whatever the other words are that could potentially get this demonetized. I really don't know. Oh, the British spell it with 2 N's. Irish spell it with 1 N. Got it. I apologize. I was still trying to teach them English. Yeah, I know. That's right. There was a guy today I was hanging out with, and he was from Ireland. Clearly, he had a very, very thick accent, and it's funny, right? Because from my perspective, my ears tell me that I don't have an accent. And I was hanging out with some buddies in Copenhagen, and actually, yeah, every single one of them had a British accent. Some of them were from, like, you know, New Zealand, Australia, which of course sounds similar to me. I'm sure if you're from Australia, a New Zealand accent does not sound, you know, it sounds different, right? Oh, rain's coming. I think the rain's coming. See, but over there, there's still some Thais like walking around. No, they're getting underneath the. Yeah, so if you don't know, this is what I refer to as generic, energetic rain. And the thing about rain is that it doesn't necessarily show up. So let me cruise over there and show you guys what kind of rain we got going on, with the also hope that where I am here in my fort, and I'm going to be able to stay dry. But if I go out from underneath this tarp, well, you can kind of tell the amount there. That doesn't look that intense, but I obviously don't want to do this. Hey, look at the rain! And then my phone stops working. Yes, Mike, getting water in a phone depletes its functionality. But yeah, it's just, you know, I mean, it's raining, but it certainly isn't Southeast Asia rain. And the good news, though, is that I think because of this thing I got going on there and the overlap with these other umbrellas, I think I am so there's a fork underneath here. That's good if I ever wanted to have some cowpad guy while I'm sitting here. But all right, so thank you for that. I was wondering whether it was sort of like a whether it was based on different countries' heritage. Now retracted means he retracted, not deleted. No, that's what I meant. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Aztec. Deleted message, no abuse, never for me. It was an accidental delete. Hit the wrong. That's fine. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's not like I don't make mistakes, right? I mean, I've definitely posted something. I was like, oh, no, I probably shouldn't have said that, you know. And I just, so like, no big deal. Trust me. Again, like I said, there are no eggshells on this cool kid's table. Because that's just, I mean, who wants to live that way, right? I mean, it's, come on. So the rain came. And basically went the infamous really quick Southeast Asian shower. So I'm not quite sure, although it's you can't really tell because of course there's the auto balance, right? But this person, she's walked past here now twice, I think. So let me see if I can tell from her shirt. I can't tell whether she's got rain on her shirt or not. No, I don't think so. So that's cool. I'll stay dry. I don't know how to say rain in Thai. That would be really cool because then I could be like, hey, you know, is there rain coming? Teeny rain, you know, but I don't know how to say rain. I mean, I could Google it, of course, but I'm not a reneg. That's MedTech. Nice. This is kind of cool, though. I mean, I like it because, well, for one, there weren't any people here really to begin with. And so I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to have to share this, you know, I mean, because this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 umbrellas, right? So I'm, you know, arguably I'm overusing my only child umbrella safety location. And if someone comes over and they want to just stay dry, I mean, all I'm going to do is continue to talk into my phone, which may bother them more than it bothers me. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about it, but I'm certainly not going to kick them out, that's for sure. I'm not going to kick them out of their country. Fun Tuk. Oh, Fun Tuk, is that how you say rain? Fawn? Isn't fawn rain? I can't remember. What if there were only a global information network where I could type in questions and actual English answers in sentences would come back? One day. But yeah, this is kind of neat. And it's to the point where it's not so intense, such that like if you, because you know how like when the rain gets really intense, like even if you're under a tree it doesn't matter. You won't. But see, you can see like underneath, like how only half the road is getting wet, and so that's not too bad. That's pretty cool. And we still have crows. That's for sure. They aren't quieting down anytime soon. Oh, hey Dave, good to see you, man. How you doing? Wow, I missed. Yeah, let me guess, Dave. You also didn't get a notification. Aztec was saying the same thing. I'm so bummed about that, and there's literally nothing I can do. Just got back from Joe's. Oh, you mean Pot Shop Currycon? Is he down there? I haven't watched one of his videos in forever. I mean, they keep reminding me, but it's just like, okay, I'll get to this, I'll get to this, I'll get to this, and then, you know, minutes go by. But yeah, I don't think he's down there, right? I think he's traveling. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I love Pot Shop Currycon, man. I love it down there, and in fact, I think I may take the train down there in a few days. I kind of got to be around here. The good news is that I pretty much will get 24 hours notice if I need to meet with like the Board of Investment, like the BOI for my business visa or my work permit. But you know, I don't want to have them be like, you know, call me at like, oh, hey, it's 4 p.m. Can you be here at 9 tomorrow morning? I'm like, in theory, yeah. I mean, obviously you can get anywhere in Thailand within, you know, provided there's a plane available that time. And, you know, I'd prefer to not overpay for the thing to do it at the last minute. But obviously I'm not going to be able to make a 21-day advance purchase on a plane ticket. So I'm not going to use my AirAsia pass to get back somewhere. But if I do get down to Pot Shop Currycon, the good news is that the majority of the trains are running. So I could pretty much get back like overnight if I needed to for the following morning. So I think that's about a good distance. So I may take the train down there. I miss it down there. I love being able to take the train down there, get off the train, and then just basically, it's 1 kilometer, walk right to the beach. And you know, there's the few hotels there that I think are fine. Rent a motorbike from that hotel and just cruise around. So Dave, when you were down there, Al Manau Beach is one that I'm really fond of. But that's in the airbase. Was the airbase open? Because when I was there, the airbase was not open, and that bummed me out. Daniel says, so how long do we have to wait before we can start to see some drama between the Thailand vloggers, like how we see in the bridge? Just joking. Yeah, absolutely. No, I will tell you right now, guys. I mean, if it gets here, you guys know, and I know you're just joking, but you guys know that if you don't, Rike is a really good friend of mine, like a really good friend of mine, like the kind of friend that, like, you know, we don't see each other for a year and then we get together and we are talking for hours. We like will randomly send each other a message on Facebook and Messenger, and it will go on for, you know, a whole thread. We get each other, we like each other, you know, we really respect each other. But unfortunately, because of what was going on over there, not just with him, but yes, many Philippine vloggers, I had to send a message to him and to Gio, who I really respect. I don't know him very well, but I respect him, and say, hey, you know what? That video that we did together, like, can you just take it down? Because I cannot, I'm not gonna, you know, I can proactively right now possibly prevent some nonsense in my life by not being on the same video as you. And, you know, and they respected it, absolutely. And they said, yes, don't worry about it. No, I understand. But that's horrible, right? I mean, dude, come on. And, I don't know, all I can hope is that, you know, the cool kids, like the table, right, that we have set up here, I've said this before, the culture that I've set up here, I just hope that it's just of so no value to anyone that would want to, like, cause that drama, that they're just like, screw him, he's not worth it, Mike's annoying, all he talks about is gratitude and his great relationship and how honest he is and how many imperfections he has and how he, you know, oh my God, the guy doesn't even drink, and he talks about sobriety and recovery and Buddhism and gratitude. You know, so hopefully a lot of those things are of no interest to anyone who's in a bad mood, and so therefore they just simply come over here and leave, and those are the people that thumbs down and ideally never come back, right? But anyway. Oh, okay, so got it. Okay, so Joe's leaving tomorrow to go see Teachers Thomas Thailand's bar opening. Oh my God, he's opening a bar? Wow. You know, that and opening a restaurant. That's the infamous, you know how to get $1 million in the bank? Well, start with $2 million and open up a restaurant, you know? I wish him all the success in the world, and I even have other buddies that I'm really close to, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm saving up my money, and we're going to open up a place in Pattaya, and we're going to do this, and I'm just like, dude, that's awesome. You know, I mean, here's a business plan that I even looked at fine-tooth comb, and I saw where there's the possibility to make money, and I saw where there's the possibility to, you know, lose money, and how to avoid those things, and, you know, how to profit and loss. I mean, I looked at it for like a 3-year stint, and it was just like, first of all, I didn't want to do that. Like, I'm not a chef, for example, right? So I never have any. My buddy Frankie from back home, Frankie the Bull, if you've ever watched, what is it? Not Flaming Chef, but what's it called? Like Hot Chef or something like that. You know, one of those chef competitions, right? Where they the infamous reality TV show that they produce the hell out of ahead of time, right? But no, it's live, and anyway, he was on that, Frankie the Bull, and he's a chef. He loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it, loves having a restaurant, and he's actually successful at it. You know, whereas there are many people that sadly are not successful at that, and I know it can bring a lot of stress. But that's awesome, and that's cool that he's helping him out, and with any luck, because of Joe's popularity, as well as Teacher Thomas Thailand, he's got thousands of people watching him. You know, that'll help those guys be successful, because I mean, now's a good time to kind of start something where it's like people are like, well, let's go to a restaurant. Which one? Which one's still in business? Oh, there's this new one. ... Right? And then they go out, and then it'll be successful. That'd be kind of neat. Which I was there for that. Can't wait to get down and meet half these people. Josh in La La Land will be there too. Hoping he takes all the girls. Oh yeah, you know what? That's funny, Aztec, that you mentioned that. I hope you were joking when you said, oh no, those girls were like A's. In other words, on a scale from like A to F, like you would grade them in school. Because, you know, again, I'm biased, right? So I think Gracie's beautiful, and you guys might not, and other people might not. But, you know, I saw some of them, I'm like, whew, they are, I thought they were all rice-fed over here. Those girls look corn-fed. They look beef-fed. They look like they're from the Midwest. So anyway, but that's just my judgment. I'm not saying that's bad or good. It was just that my impression of them is like, they're not my type. There's not enough time in the day for Roger that, Damo. Boom, right there. Where's the camera? Right there, buddy. High five, chest bump all day long. I am so with you, dude. Not enough attention units. It was Recam that led me to your channel. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate that. And you know, I thank him all day long. He's a good guy, man. And you know, and what's so interesting, I mean, because again, these guys don't know him, right? So I mean, I get it. They're making these assumptions and these judgments based on a 4-minute video that he watches or whatever, right? So I guess I can maybe understand why someone would be so lame to like watch a video with him and be like, oh my God, he's, you know, he's a sex pad or he's doing this. My God, dude, the way that he treats the opportunities that he gives V, I mean, it's just so awesome to watch, you know? And it's a team. I mean, they each have their roles. Like Gracie has her role, I have my role. And I bring certain things to the relationship that she doesn't bring. And she brings a lot to this relationship that I absolutely cannot bring. And it's raining now. I'm very happy about that. It's raining intensely right now. Let me see if I cruise over there. If I cruise over there, can you see, is my phone heating up? Not really. It's charging, but it's not 1,000,000 degrees. Hold on, let's take a look. I don't know how long it's gonna last, so that's why I figured I'd cruise over here and see if you guys can take advantage of this nice warm rain, or at least the view of it. I'm not quite sure if that'll show up for you. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see rain. It's kind of like, oh my God, can you hear that C sharp within that white noise? No mic, that's why they call it white noise. Got it. Anyway, I'm gonna sit over here in my little fort and just kind of chill out with that. But yeah, man, I mean, here's what's interesting about Rike, for me, is that he's one of those guys, and I'm sure you guys like do this, right? Like you meet someone for the first time, and you know, whether you want to call it judgment or whatever, but you're assessing that person. And if there's kind of some things that occur, or some statements that they make, or some behaviors that they engage in, you may or may not be like, oh, I don't really resonate with that. It's like, you know, I mean, if you're walking down a market and you like steal 5 apples, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, but I'm hungry and he's gonna get money from someone else, so it's like no big deal, justification, blah, blah, blah. I gotta feed my family, what does he know, you know? He's overcharging for those apples anyway. I mean, that's a pretty big red flag for me. I'm like, dude, if you're doing that right now, that I don't want to be a part of that behavior, right? So I mean, you did, but like with Rike and I mean, I can't speak for him about me, but I mean, I just, you know, I met the guy and I was just like, he's so friggin' normal and cool, and I mean, you know, he gives away so much for free. His kind of like default setting is to provide value to the world without any real sort of focus on the compensation other than himself feeling better. I like to think that I do that to some degree too. Look, I don't hate money. And when people like give me money or they super chat me money or they buy me a smoothie or whatever, first of all, I'm honored. And it's neat because like the other day, trying to think who, someone gave me Alberto. Alberto was on the stream and he's been here before, but it was one of the first, anyway, first time he sent me PayPal, he sent me $5. And I sent him an email back and I said, dude, that's so awesome. Because he's like, well, you know, buy yourself a smoothie. I said, dude, no, I'm sorry. He said, this is for the Ayutthaya train ticket. And I told him, I said, look, dude, not only did I buy the train ticket down there and coffee down there and go to the 7-Eleven and the train back and the coconut smoothie from my coconut smoothie guy on the way back, but I also got chicken from my chicken and rice lady. So I mean, it was like kind of, you know, and that was all him, man. I got to do that whole day for, you know, the $5 that he sent me, and you know, hopefully I will be able to sort of share some of that, right? But anyway, I mean, look, I can't say enough good things about Rike, kind of thing, you know. But there is not enough time, Damo. I am right there with you. So anyway, Daniel, thank you for coming by. I appreciate that. Whoop whoop, hey Mike's, good to see you, Logan. What's happening, buddy? Glad you're here, honored. Lots of cheap cars for sale in Thailand now. Well, yes, they're for sale. I don't know how cheap they are. I've been amazed, especially the real estate is not, okay, it depends where it is. If the guy's desperate, he's unloading it, and especially if it's Farang. But if it's a Thai, or like Thai Chinese or Chinese whatever, they're just like, no, we're just gonna hold out on it. You know, we're not gonna unload it, kind of thing, which is weird. It's a different model than I'm certainly used to in the U.S., which is, as you say, like times get tough. People sell things like, you know, fire sale kind of thing, right? And but again, to be fair, I haven't looked at bars for sale. I've seen them for sale, but I haven't like looked at the, you know, I haven't done any degree of due diligence or said, oh, give me the P&L. What are you asking for it? You know, can I do will you hold a note for me? Like, I don't have any interest in that. It's been an interesting series of vlogs watching his building of the bar and everything that's gone with it. I certainly hope him the best too. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you guys know where that is, can you put it in here? The location, I mean, because as far as I know, Teacher Thomas Thailand is down in Rayong. Is that right? Can't remember. Damo, investment opportunity? I'm more from the sports zone. Have you watched any sports in Thailand volleyball? No, you know what I have watched though, because it was kind of refreshing. I'm like, oh my God, people actually like do this as a competitive sport. Badminton. And in fact, walking over here from Chitlom, I walked by the, it was like the Thailand Badminton Society. And I'm like, oh my God, they have like a whole, so it's kind of cool, you know? Badminton's neat. I mean, you see guys like walking around, you know, with a case, right? And they have like their badminton racket. None of this like tennis stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's cool. Thai girls' national team are quite high on the world ranking for sure. The hottest girls, yeah, I'm sure. They're pretty fit, right? Hey, bud, check 6:52 p.m. about yeah, I know. Yeah, so, okay, so what he's referring to is someone who, if you guys don't know, you may or may not have heard the name Bill Wilson or Dr. Paul, or Dr. Bob Smith. A higher likelihood that you've heard the name Bill Wilson or potentially Bill W. if you know of the movie My Name is Bill W. And so those guys are pretty much, you know, well, Dr. Paul isn't, but he's a very sort of famous quote inside of the Alcoholics Anonymous text. Bill Wilson, arguably the founder and certainly best promoter of Alcoholics Anonymous in its time, and one of the key authors of the text as well as other texts. Clancy, who Philip mentions, was from Los Angeles, and he was a very popular, well-known, what we refer to in big AA meetings as a circuit speaker. And so he would go around and he would speak. He would tell his story at large AA gatherings, be it big meetings, or conventions. Like, for example, he came here to Thailand in 2013, right? I said, oh my goodness, who just gave me some money? Hold on, I'm honored. Who just did that? I want to make sure that why doesn't it show up? Oh, dude, it says 5.2, which I assume is $5.20 in my currency. But oh, there we go, Daniel. Daniel, thank you, buddy. Just wanted to say I enjoy your vlogs, your positive, upbeat attitude, and your drama-free channel. So far, so good, buddy. Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Well, I certainly will. $5. It's $5.20. So that's basically that's about 160 baht. So let's see, for 160 baht on the way home. First of all, I can get home on BTS. I can get the 25 baht coconut shake from my guy, and when I get 2 pieces of the big pieces of chicken, and then 2 chicken legs, and then 2 things of sticky rice, that's 90 baht. Gao sip, and so that's like 100. Okay, so that's cool. So I still have like 40 baht left, dude. That's awesome. Oh, I can buy some apples. I'm gonna go down to the market and get some apples, because I can get 5 apples for 40 baht. Bam. Good job, dude. That's awesome. I'm honored. I'm glad you think it's positive. I do, but you know, I'm really in a good mood. Just ask me. I'm real positive. Just ask me. You'd be like, oh my God, Mike, you're so boring. You're not animated and everything. Anyway, so yeah, so that gentleman, Clancy, he did that, but he also did a lot of other stuff. He helped a lot of other guys get sober. He helped communities get sober. And as you might guess, because of his visibility and his popularity, there were also people, contrarians, that thought that he did a bad job. They thought that he expressed himself incorrectly. They didn't like his mantra or his diction or his flow or his attitude. He wasn't like so again, plus I'm sure many people have similar opinions about me. I hate his orange shirts. Oh my God, he should have shaved his head. What an idiot. You know, his girlfriend is, you know, she's fat, and she's like, you know, I mean, she's not, obviously, but I mean, I'm talking about, you know, other people's classes. So anyway, the point is that he was, I believe he was sober over 60 years, and so therefore, or maybe not, I can't remember exactly, but he had an enormously positive impact overall, infinitely more positive than negative. I mean, just like, you know, maybe this much negative and this much positive. And everyone pretty much knows his name. That is part of the recovery community. And he passed away the other day. And so there are people that, you know, are emotionally distraught. One of my mentors in my life, his name is Bill, and in San Diego and Los Angeles even, and in many other areas of the United States, people know Bill Z. He was instrumental in helping publish a book for a 12-step program. He and I, if you don't know, we actually started an entire genre of music called recovery music, and we have an internet radio station that still streams today called 12stepradio.com. And he and I worked on that project a long time. He produced an album. He wrote like 12 songs, you know, 12 steps, 12 songs, right? And so he's well known, and he is getting into the end, right? He's a lot closer to the end than he is at the beginning. And, you know, eventually he will pass on. And that will be devastating for me. When the next probably video you guys see from me, well, no, he won't pass on in the next few years. But the next video where you see me cry will likely be next May, when I do my video that I normally do when I have when I celebrate an additional year of, you know, solution of recovery of sobriety. So I usually cry during those during those moments with enormous amounts of gratitude. I just, you know, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But when Bill passes away, that's going to be a tough one. So I'm really glad that we're building this foundation right now, quite frankly, because there's going to be a high likelihood that I will reach out to you guys when that occurs, and I will be like, dude, I don't care what you do, just sit next to me. Aztec, just sit next to me. Daniel, Alberto, all you other guys, Damo, Philip, just sit with me, dude. I'm gonna get a smoothie, and I have no idea what I'm gonna need, but I'm just gonna need you to sit with me, and you know. There will be the cool kids table. So there you go. That'll be cool. But yeah, that's a tough one, huh, Philip? Always laugh when you say damo. You say it like an American. Shocker, right? Whereas Australians pronounce it like they say demo. Oh, interesting. So that's the interesting thing, right? So, I mean, obviously, if you don't know, right, Americans, they try and like mimic, right, like a British or an Australian or New Zealand, whatever accent. And we try and talk like, you know, this, and we do a horrible job, right? So I don't think I've heard an Australian like try and be like, you know, talk like an American. I guess I'm American. I guess I have a California accent. I guess I have a Boston accent every now and then. It comes out when I get really excited there, Bobby. But yeah, that's sort of it. Because again, in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't have an accent. And I'm sure the Australians are like, bro, you say damo. You're a moron. It's damo, brah. You guys also say breaky though for breakfast. No, it's breakfast. It's not breaky. Rike, God of information in Asia. He only has problems with math. That's true. Yeah, that's accurate. That's where the engineer in me and the empirical scientist in him sort of we add value to each other by helping each other. Buying a bar is not something I should do. I'd be broke in a month. Haha, yeah, I get it. Demo. Actually, I think when we were on Rob's channel, he calls you the bomb or something like that, right? Or maybe that's JC. I can't remember. Some other one that I like have done live streams with. I call you Damo at the beginning, and then they call you at the end. So, whoa, you can run the kitchen then. Yeah, absolutely. Just stay away from the bar. Just run the kitchen. Mike Bruca says, sorry, Mike, I can't buy you a Mike smoothie. The Slovenian banking system from the Flintstones period, really? Well, I mean, you come over here, dude. I mean, that's all. Trust me, there's no requirement, but thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. How's that? High five. Palabanchang Rayon. Oh, that's where he's from? Okay. And again, Daniel, thank you so much. I'm honored by your super chat. You're awesome, dude. Look at that. High fives from Viper. There we go. 61 years sober. 61, okay. And he came from Melbourne to speak many times. One of Clancy's books was titled A New Pair of Glasses. So actually that wasn't Clancy's book. That was by Chuck Chamberlain. They were very close. They were very close though. But Chuck Chamberlain is traditionally held responsible for that book. But it's a great book, A New Pair of Glasses. Damo says if we get a 50 likes Boston accent for the whole stream, I could do this whole freaking stream, Bobby. I tell you right now, if I leave Southie and I meet you in Dorchester, there is no friggin' way I can park there. But I will do this entire broadcast, my friend, with a Boston accent. I can do it. No big whoop. I mean, you sassing me? Don't you sass me? Don't you sass me? I'll put you in your place there, Bobby. Great to see you again watching from Canada. Paramedic in Paradise. Oh my God, this is so cool. Paramedic in Paradise. Is ERMD still here? We got like a paramedic. We got an ER doctor. Who's the other guy? There's another guy that's also a doctor, I think, on here. Oh, there was a... Brian has not been on here in a long time. Brian from New York City. Now, again, right now it is arguably like 5 in the morning in New York City. But yeah, Brian Rapido, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I can't remember his last name right now. But Brian, he was a cop. And I got a lot of respect and gratitude for those people, man. It's like, yeah, Mike, if you want to run out of that building while there's guns and fire in there, no worries, I'll run in. What the? I mean, thank you. Like, that's ridiculous, but awesome. Smash that like button, people, Damo. All right, buddy. Aloha. Yeah, see, there we go. Paramedic in Paradise and ERMD over there in... Okay, so Paramedic in Paradise, where are you, man? Are you like down the hallway from ERMD? Are you guys both in Hawaii? That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Or maybe you know each other and you're like, dude, let's totally make Mike think that we're like from different parts of the world to make him think he's that much more global. Well, some guy recently actually commented he was from the US and was familiar with the Boston accent. So when he found that I was from Boston, one of the comments, and I get this a lot, is they're like, man, you really don't have a Boston accent. And usually my response is, well, I started out in radio pretty young, and one of the things you want to do in radio, especially if you're from Boston, in Boston, is not have a real thick Boston accent. Because, you know, if you're going to go radio for a career, then there's a chance that you're going to go to different markets. And you don't want to be sort of like, you know, oh yeah, you're the guy with the, I mean, obviously Howard has a New York, you know, accent and sort of thing. But I'm not Howard. So I needed to be a lot more sort of, you know, generic and But I'm quite certain the guys from Australia are like, no, trust me, dude, you have an accent. It's called an American accent, and we can hear it meters away. Not feet, meters, miles, kilometers. West Coast, oh, cool. Whereabouts? I'm from San Diego, if you don't know. Or I'm originally from Boston, but I moved to California and spent basically the last 30 years of my life there before I came here. Okay, so you see now it's coming down significantly. Let me see if I can share. How much battery do I got? Oh, I got 93% battery, and I got like 2 bars left in the battery pack. So what I'm hoping is that this rain. Oh, outside Vancouver, right on, cool. My folks met at the University of British Columbia, UBC in Vancouver. Now can you see that? Can you see the drip? Yeah, so you can see the drip. So obviously there's like a little bit there. But I think if I stay over on this side, looks like I'm going to be able to stay dry as long as I stay away from that. It won't damage my phone. But, yeah, let's see here. All right. You can probably hear it more than you can see it. I don't know. I suppose, yes, Mike, I can see the rain, meaning that you can't see buildings. Oh, it's coming down. Oh, yeah, and I'm getting a lot of splash, too. Oh, I feel so lucky that I found this little spot, a little cave. Look at that, man. I got my own little, look at this, how dry I am in here. Is this going to be the famous last words? Because like if all of a sudden this shows up right on top of my phone, this is going to be one of my shorter live streams. But, oh man, oh yeah, see? So there we go, I'm getting, I'm getting a little bit of water there. I pretty much, ever since I was at Songkran, I pretty much put everything of like, they could be easily damaged by water. I put it in plastic bags. If you learn nothing from Songkran, always carry plastic bags with you. My experience. So I'm gonna have to switch out my glasses, so let me do that. God, I don't have anything. I don't even have like a Snickers bar. I don't have a Coke. I don't have water. 23 watching, 19 thumbs up. Wow, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Hell of rain. It's pissing down, raining in Aussie. It's pissing down. Sharon! I've only met Ozzy once in person. And his accent is ridiculous. It is incredibly thick. There we go, that's a little better. Put the sunglasses away. And of course, yes, absolutely. AWSM. Awesome. Now see, that's kind of like me. Like if I didn't have all this gear and I was and I was walking around, this is what I would be doing right there. Look at that. Living the dream, dude. This is the kind of rain that when it got like really intense like this, yes, do it. Absolutely. Good for you, man. Good for you. I would run outside, all of us actually, all of us kids, where I grew up, in the summers, in the hot summers in New England, when it would get rain like this, when we would get rain like this, then we'd be inside, the rain would come down, we'd run outside, we'd jump in the puddles, we'd get all over the place. Now I'm getting some splash, I'm getting some overspray, and it's pretty good. Just so you know, like right there, that's where I was standing about 20 seconds ago. So that makes me think that there's a possibility that where I'm sitting right now could turn into that experience. So if all of a sudden I'm like, great, this actually will last until it comes in, hopefully live the dream, because yeah, live the dream, doing it wrong, I gotta go by. That's because I'm about to damage all of my gear. But I'm surprised that connection is still good. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, Thailand is like this, right? Like, I mean, I've done, well, this is what, my 4th? I can't remember. Maybe you know by Brooker, because I would do them in the afternoons. Anyway, this is my 4th, I think, live stream from here. And one time it was like horrible, and you know, it was jitter and everything. And then another time it was great, and then, you know, and now, because I'm, you know, have half a brain, I always do a speed test on my phone before I start the live stream. And from sitting right here, it was like 64 down and like 30 up or something like this. So I'm like, oh, that's fine. 30 up is great. And the ping time, it was only like 17 milliseconds. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's easy round trip. Ow, that's easy round trip. There won't be a whole lot of latency with that. So that'll be cool. Dennis says, funny thing, Mike, when I watched your first times, I was like, oh no, he's another happy Yank. Glad I stuck around. You're a top bloke. So that's interesting. I mean, do you find that's like kind of that could be like a negative stereotype? Like there's just a bunch of dudes from America. They just, I mean, because I've had people from just other parts of the United States before say, oh, well, of course you're happy. You're from California. Everyone's happy from California. I'm like, no, not really. Because our real estate went like this, but then it also went really like, whereas if you were from other parts of the country, it was like, okay, I can handle this. Or California was like, oh my God, I'm rich. Oh crap. You know, so. 23 people watching, 20 thumbs up. Look at that. That's so great. I can't help but wonder how many people would have been watching in the first, like, oh wow. In the first, like, 20 minutes, if actually YouTube did their job and notified you guys. I'm having a mint. I like these ones. If you've ever been over here, you'll maybe recognize these. If you've ever shopped at a 7-Eleven. Does that show up as reverse image, or is that mirror image for you guys? I can't remember. Like I see it as a mirror image, but reverse image. Anyway, Fisherman's Friend. But you know, there's the base kind of flavor, right? Which is like peppermint, spearmint, whatever. And this one's kind of cool. Yes, it's peppermint and that sort of thing, but it's mandarin, orange. It's pretty good. So yeah, this is how exciting my life gets. This is why I'm grateful, Dennis, because of the mints. Oh no, here's another happy Yank. That's funny. No one is happy in California at the moment. Yeah, I know, right? I think I told you guys this before. I've talked to various friends, like the majority of which live in California. But man, the common thing they all say, because they're my friends, right? And they want the best for me, I want the best for them. As they say, I am so glad you are not here right now. You would be miserable. If you guys watch some of the other videos, or you see the comments, or you watch the live streams, you've probably seen T.Y. Dorman, right? So, Todd, I would probably do, or would have done exactly what he has just done, which is hyper-focused on getting over here. He's got his elite visa. He's going to be able to come over here. He's going to have insurance. He's going to do this. But he also had a backup plan. He's got a visa to go to Cambodia, and that's good for a year. Either a year or 90 days. I can't remember. But regardless, he's got a visa that can get him into Cambodia. It was like, look, if all I can do is get over there, if I can just get to Cambodia, great. Then within the next, time of my visa, maybe 90 days, I'll be able to get into Thailand. But I would have done the same thing. There's no way I would have been like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay here in San Diego where it's really great. No, I would have done anything. Not anything. I would have done it. I would have put a significant amount of energy towards getting the hell out of there. So yeah, that's a real drag. I got a really good buddy who lives in San Diego, and his son, who's brilliant, he had a gig up in San Francisco. And I also have another friend who recently went for an interview in San Francisco. And as you might guess, there was like initial interviews like on Skype, and then there was the face-to-face. So he actually like went into the city and he met him at like a WeWork, co-working space office in San, like right in San Francisco, like right near Market, and he's like, it was empty. It was like absolutely empty. Like, I mean, because there were no streetcars, there was no traffic, essentially, no horns, no homeless people, and because I mean, if there's no one there to give them money, the homeless people aren't going to show up there. And I mean, like all the parts of the mall were open, but for the most part, all the food eateries were closed, and no one's buying Gucci handbags, right? So I mean, that was closed. The Apple store was closed. Everything. And it just was really eerie. But anyway, my buddy's son works up in San Francisco, and he's basically a banker. And as far as I know, you cannot do that remotely, just simply for like regulation. I believe you can't. Like, I mean, you could technically, of course, connect to your office, right, via VPN, But I believe there's some regulation where they can't do it based on what he was doing, like whether it was trading or whatever. So not quite sure what he ended up doing. Although the good news is last time I talked to him, he was like basically not necessarily pitching me for money, but he was like, you know, just like, hey, can I pitch you this idea and tell you about it, like your opinion on it, a little startup that he has. And yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty, I don't know if it's COVID proof, but it seemed disappointment proof, you know. If the economy went down a little bit, they'd still be able to, there would still be a need in the market for what he was doing. So I hope he's doing okay. But other than that, my business partner, Ed, he's in San Diego. Eddie's over in Bullhead City. So he's, you know, close to California, closer to Vegas, really. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad I'm not there. Really glad I'm not there. And what of all the New York? Yeah, I know, man. And you know what's crazy, right? Speaking of Rique, I think maybe it wasn't him, but anyway, I think it might have been him that posted an article about how Costa Rica, because they're like, look, dude, 75% of our tourism in multiple areas comes from not just tourists, but American tourists. So they're like, look, we got to open this up. So we're going to open it up for like 5, 6 states, whatever. And one of those states was New York. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's it, you know, way to rip the Band-Aid off kind of thing. But I'm like, of all the states to allow people to come in from, especially right now. I mean, right now it's August in, you know, in New York City. It's hot. It's humid there. And so, you know, I can understand why you'd be like, okay, well, let's allow, you know, if it's October, let's allow people from, you know, the northern states, the cooler states, let's allow them to come down to Costa Rica because there's going to be high demand. You know, and so maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're allowing New York in there, and it's like, yes, we know that they're very diseased. However, it's basically the same temperature in Costa Rica that it is in New York City right now, some days. So maybe they're like, well, we're not going to get a ton of people, but we will get some tourists, which we, you know, we need for the economy. So, but yeah, New York's been in bad shape for a long time, right? So New York was on that list. New Jersey was on that list, meaning, you know, states in the United States that the Costa Rican Tourism Board is like, look, we should allow these people to come in. And but I got my business partner Ed, San Diego. He's going down to Mexico. He's been to Mexico on vacation, basically, you know, a couple places, and had a pretty good time. Now I've got calls from 3 Californians that have just moved to Perth, wanting to know why I'm the only game in town in just the last 6 months. Why you mean why Perth is? Well, I mean, okay, so you know what's interesting about, and this may be completely inaccurate, but this is something that I've heard a couple of times. I've heard San Diego compared to Sydney. People have said, yeah, the economy is similar there. The cost of living rather is similar there. The ability to make money there, they would get a good job, make some decent money. Housing, you know, kind of similar in price there, and then the outskirts, I guess. And the weather, I don't know if that's accurate, but that's I've heard San Diego and Sydney compared to each other. So, but I mean, Perth's way over on the other side. I mean, are you at the same latitude? I'm sure the cost of living's less in Perth, but I mean, obviously you're what, 2 time zones over, right? So maybe you're at the same latitude as Sydney, so maybe that's why. Maybe it's in fact, is Perth a little north of where Sydney is? So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a little warmer. No disrespect, all countries and nationalities have differences. We love them, but we like to slag ye off sometimes. Harmless fun, keep moving. Oh, that's okay. Oh, you know, it's funny because so the majority of my family's Canadian, right? And so when the cousin with my Canadian parents, when I would go up to visit all of my mom's, you know, my aunt and uncle and all of my nieces and nephews in Canada, in Toronto, I mean, I was the only American, right? So my uncle used to refer to me as a Yank, you know, and it was funny. There were some common things that we would always sort of joke around about or give each other, you know, a hard time about. And the first was the money, because, you know, even when they were pretty close, they've never been worth more. The U.S. dollar's always been worth more than the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar has been as low, I think, as about, you know, 58 cents to $1. I think it's more like 65, 70. I could obviously look it up, but I would imagine that's about there. But for the most part, the majority of my life, the Canadian dollar has been about, you know, 75 cents compared to the US dollar. And so I never forget my uncle, he would always refer to, like I would go up there with, like I would have US dollars in my pocket, right? And he would always refer to the Canadian dollars as funny money. And they would say, oh yeah, well it's just funny money, you know. Because it was more colored, of course, you know, the United States, I mean, for the most part, it's like green and black, that's about it. There's some white in there, of course, but not colorful like the other ones. Oh good, glad I'm gonna have my glasses. This woman with the pink t-shirt who's gotta be soaking wet by now. Oh, she's incredibly fit. She must be like a total runner. But, so here's what's interesting, because when it's raining underneath these umbrellas, obviously I hear like, you know, every drop. But if I look out on the field, it looks, well, I can certainly see past that building that we couldn't see past before. Well, that's kind of washed out, but yeah, I can see a little bit. So there's a little bit more visibility. So that tells me that the rain is, you know what's funny? And the sound of the crows is back. What's funny is there's a part of me that I think if I heard that at home, I might think that they're crows, but I also might think that they're geese. Because geese kind of sound like that, although they're painfully, obviously, you know, crows, that sort of thing. 23 people watching and 24 thumbs up. Oh my Buddha. Nice shirt, Mike. Thank you. This is a, if you don't know, the majority of my shirts, certainly the ones that last the longest, that I like the most, I usually get at places like, I don't know if you have these where you are, but basically secondhand clothing stores, let's just say that. People donate their clothes and then the store will, you know, give people jobs that wouldn't necessarily get jobs to work in these stores. And then they sell these clothes for very little money. And where I lived in San Diego, there were, you know, middle class communities, and then there were upper middle class communities, and there were upper class communities. Like, in other words, like they would breed Teslas there. Like everyone had a very expensive lifestyle and traditionally made a very good living. Anyway, because of that, a lot of those people would buy clothes that they would occasionally never even wear, or they would wear once and then send it to the dry cleaner and then be like, I'm never gonna buy this, I'm never gonna wear this again. So they would give it to the Goodwill, or they would give it to, I've never had real good success getting good shirts or pants or whatever at the Salvation Army. But there's this other place also where I go, near my folks' place. And again, it's one of those deals where like the hometown I grew up in is fairly affluent, and then the ones next to it aren't as. And so therefore they have these like Goodwill, like secondhand clothing stores, and there's this one kind of up the street, a couple miles, called Savers, and they have, you know, like secondhand clothes. And you know, they're always washed and that sort of thing. So anyway, it's cool because I get these things for like $3 or $4. You know, I mean, literally this was like $4. My Robert Graham's, I don't think I've ever paid more than $25 for a Robert Graham, and a lot of times those things are like $175, you know. But I didn't bring that many with me here. My outfit, for the most part, is a long sleeve shirt with the sleeves rolled up, collar. I also like having a pocket here, usually untucked, and wearing shorts. And sometimes I wear flip-flops. The majority of the time I will wear sneakers, simply because lately I've been walking a lot. And so I have the custom insoles with decent sneakers, and they usually last me about a year or two before the soles wear out. But that's pretty much my outfit. But yeah, I prefer the brighter ones, the louder ones, I suppose. But I do need to get some new ones. But I don't want to buy them around here because if you don't know, right? I mean, a lot of clothes, a lot of shirts specifically, are manufactured here. The ones that will last longer usually for me, usually the fabric will come from India. So Robert Graham being a great example. So those shirts will sometimes last me, you know, 8-10 years kind of thing. Whereas this is just like a cotton shirt, and if it ripped or whatever, I'd probably just, you know, throw it away. But I can't go to a place like that here, because even if I were to buy a shirt like this that was made here, that is sold here, if it's made here and it's sold here, it's lousy quality, because there are shirts that are in Walmart in the United States that are made in Thailand, that are made in Malaysia, that are made in Vietnam, that are made in Cambodia, that are infinitely better quality than like the average shirt you'll see down. I mean, it's just not made as well. And I thought, man, when I move here, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Wait, what time is it? Oh, it's 4:30. I'm not going to be doing a live stream at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, they play the national anthem everywhere, and everyone stops where they are. and then they play the national anthem, and then they keep walking. And I think it's the coolest thing. I think it is so cool. So they do that in places like this, like public parks. Now, this announcement, I can't remember whether they'll also do it in English. I don't think they will. But what I believe they're saying is, you know, basically be safe and that sort of thing. Wear a mask. I believe the short answer, they're saying, you know, if you're walking around here wearing a mask. And the only reason I'm not wearing one is because I'm here. And if someone were to come up close to me, I would absolutely put my mask back on. I got it in here with my hat. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway, I really like how the Thais do that. There are certain customs they do. The national anthem that plays once a day and everyone stops. Not everybody, but pretty much like 99% of the Thais will stop. 100% of them will stand up during the King's Anthem at the beginning of a movie. And I think that's awesome. Let me see if she's going to say it in English. No, I don't hear any English, but anyway. Man, it's gotten really dark, huh? It's only like 4:30. Isn't that crazy? We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. That's awesome. 24 people watching, 25 thumbs up. And good chamois. Good Sammies? Is that what you guys call them there? Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, look, there are some of them that are like really lousy quality. But then there's ones that are, again, the ones that are like in the neighborhood, really close to the really affluent neighborhood. And those are the places to shop. I mean, I've bought shirts that have never been worn before, brand new tags on it. I've also bought ones that had the paper that they'll, like, you know, the dry cleaners will staple like through the eyelet or something like that. Just gotten back from the dry cleaners, you know, and it's just like brand new shirts. And so those are cool. And I don't know why I do it, actually. I mean, I don't know. I've mentioned to you guys before that there are certain things in my life that I will pay whatever for. But at the end of the day, the way I like to purchase something, the amount of money that I will allocate to something, I really, 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 really prefer, and usually will do this at least 80% of the time, to buy something for an amount that is not distracting, is the way that I refer to it. Because if it's distracting, then it's like, oh my, like I have no idea how much this cost. Well, to be fair, it was a gift, but it was part of an organization that I was part of, and we actually bought them, right? So, I mean, there was some costs to it. Not physical money out of my pocket at the time, but there was, you know, a budgetary amount that I approved, okay? Okay, so we're at 90% charge here, which basically means plugging in my battery anymore is not going to... Man, there is a lot of dark cloud over there. Let's take a look over there. Because I might be, like, if I leave here, I might walk into... Plug that. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's... again, I'm getting... It's pretty grainy because my lens isn't that great, but it's pretty dark over there. I don't know. I'm not sure. Wait, hold on. I did see you guys said something about Rob's mask. What did you say? You should be wearing the 20 seconds in Thailand mask. They look good. Probably would not buy his condoms. Copy that, my friend. With his face on it. But the mask, yeah, I'd buy a mask. Actually, if I was going to buy any mask, and I would buy the Bangkok Strange ones we have for our new podcast, Dana and I, because I think those are pretty cool. So, okay, so what I'm seeing is, man, it is so dark for only 4:30. Because it doesn't really get dark till like 6:30 here. I am basically seeing the storm kind of coming my way, I think. And here it is. I'm glad I didn't just stand up and say, oh no, I can tell. Yeah, here it comes. Okay. Guess I'll be sitting here with you guys for a while. Which is why I'm here. This is why I showed up. Nice breeze, though. Actually, it's a pretty intense breeze. It's more intense as the minutes go. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that was just because. Whoops. Hopefully that was just because that was what was in the. But I think the storm's coming from over there. Said the guy in the double wide in Florida. I think the storm's coming from over there. But oh well, what's the worst that could happen? I put everything in a plastic bag and I move on. That's no big deal. Mike, your Re 6'1", I think. Can you find clothes your size there? I'm 6'3". Do I need to pack 2 suitcases? Yeah, that's a great question. So, I am 6'2", and I'm definitely on the high side, but I'm not on the excessive side. You should probably be okay. I've seen guys that are about 6'5". They really seem to have a challenge. Additionally, it depends on the size of your sneakers. I also usually hit the edge on that. If you're somewhere and they're European, right? So it's 45 or 46 usually what I'll wear, which is about a 10, 10 and a half, maybe an 11, but 45, 46. If you have sneakers or shoes or whatever that are bigger than that, and it's really important that you like have new ones regularly, I would encourage you to bring your own. But again, now I'm in Bangkok, okay? So, all the power just went out. Like on the entire, so all the power went out, and then all of a sudden now all of the birds are flying towards me. Is that bad? Anyway. Well, obviously the nearby cell towers are still on. I cannot believe how dark it is. I don't have, what if I do it this way? That's a little bit brighter, I guess. You guys can let me know when the, oh, there's one light that went on, but there was a bunch over here that just went off. I'm in Bangkok, and in Bangkok, there's a lot of stuff. Like, in other words, you can get pretty much everything you can get in the US in Bangkok, not for the same price. Like, in other words, I can get an amazing pizza, but it costs $35. Truly. I can have an amazing steak. I can have an amazing Brazilian, or sorry, Argentine, steak, right? But it's gonna cost me like 3,000 baht. So anyway, 49 is my size, but I live in flip-flop. Yeah, so you should be good, Tom, with the 49s. You can usually get big flip, and again, this is in Bangkok. You'll probably be able to find big flip-flops in Pattaya, because of course the majority of the products they're gonna be selling them are to Farang, right? Shirts, on the other hand, like if you want a button-down shirt, you'll be able to find your size, but it won't be the same size. By that I mean, you'll be able to find a shirt that will fit you, that will be the same size as a shirt that you already own. But if it's, let's say, an extra large in the US, it'll be a triple extra large here. So just know that extra large Asian is about medium US. And I don't know how that works in Australia, actually. I don't know whether, I would assume that Americans overall are just fatter than the Australians, but I don't know. Power goes out, birds all fly away, and this was the point that Mike was never seen again. No trace of him was ever found. All there was a gimbal just floating in the wind. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. No way, us Aussies are fairly fat. Are you? But we found this. Shirt. Nothing a Thai would wear. We think it's from wrong. Is that it? So, are a lot of Australians overweight? Do you guys have a big diabetes problem? I mean, again, it varies, right? I mean, there's infinitely more larger people, overweight people, people with diabetes, in, say, a couple general areas in the United States. The first is lower income neighborhoods, and the second one is basically the center of the country. So, I mean, if you live on the coasts, traditionally, there's less obesity, and there's less chance of... I would be triple X in Australia. Really? Okay. I think I'm pretty much extra large, double extra large in the United States. But again, I don't like a tight fitting shirt. I've never been into that. Even when I was like really thin, I was just like, yeah, I just kind of want it to be bulky, or baggy rather. I do like the shoulders to not be too far over, especially if I'm wearing a suit. But you're Oz. Yeah. Okay. And again, I think just in general, the Western world, right? I mean, you're sedentary. I mean, you sit for a living. I mean, this is what I did for a living. When people would be like, "Oh my God, how many pull-ups can you do?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? I do this for a living." Like, I mean, and and I was, you know, focused on it, probably more than I should have been. You know, I mean, I don't say that now. I'm glad that I worked my ass off now. But who knows, when I'm 70 and my body is like wearing out faster than it should have, if I had, you know, gone to the gym, as they say, every morning and then gone to work and done this, maybe I would have been in, you know, maybe I'll better have a longer life. Who knows? I like to think my life's going to be longer, though, just living over here. Oh, the lights came back on, by the way. So, for now. In fact, it's kind of quiet. Too quiet. Was that from a movie? Oh, from Sydney? Okay. What's the population of Sydney? I mean, the population of Australia is like, what? 30 million? I think the population of Australia is less than the population of California. I think California is like 35, 38 million, something like that. So I would imagine this population, how much can I bench press or deadlift? I have absolutely no idea. I've never done it. I've literally never done it. And Matt Tech sent me a video of him deadlifting, I believe. I think it was 291 pounds. There's a cat nearby hanging out. Have you guys noticed that most of the cats, like certainly the ones you see like out just like hanging out, like not at someone's house, they have their tails chopped off. That one's got like half his tail chopped off. And it just like went to the center of the, like, you know, like there's concrete tables, right? So it's a big slab, and then underneath there's the frame. Well, there's like like a rectangular top, and then there's like a square frame underneath. And you can hop into the thing. This cat just hopped into the center. So like that's his fort for the evening. 25 watching and 25 thumbs up. That's awesome. I wonder when I should have. Done it. It's kind of neat, actually. Like whenever I do a live stream, it seems like I get about 25 people. Sometimes I get up to 40. I think I've maybe peaked at 49. I don't think I've ever hit 50. I think I peaked at 49. But I can't remember like what time of day that was. And then arguably it might have been at the same time like Rob was on, so there was like some spillover. So that could have been the reason why it was like so high on that day. Dan, will speak for yourself. I'm 61 years old, young, and 78 kilos. Dude, that is fantastic. I'm 6'2", and I am 95 kilos. I prefer to be 90 kilos, as you can see. You know what's weird about me? Like, I don't get it like in my butt or my tummy. I mean, I do have a little bit of a gut. I get it in my cheeks. If I'm like 5 pounds overweight, it looks like I'm 20 pounds overweight. It's always, it's so annoying. Which is the other reason why, I mean, if I was doing that, you know, this is where the camera's supposed to be. But I'm doing it below now, so it looks like I'm fatter, right? Because I don't have the extension on my tripod, so my face looks fatter. These are the little tricks of the trade you learn when you're doing vlogs, especially live, when you basically can't edit it and post. I can't shrink I can't shrink the size of my cheeks live. Robin, hi, watching you live from the train. Talking about your channel today on my show, and we'll be sharing the link to the show page on Facebook. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, I've been really curious to hear like how, because I mean, if you're on the radio, then I'm confident that you're on the internet, right? I mean, if you're even most terrestrial radio stations stream on the internet somewhere. I'm sure I can find you. I'd love to listen to you, dude. And I'm really honored that you mentioned me on your show. My God, that's cool. Denmark, right? Oh God, I hope I'm not wrong. Sorry if I am, Robin. That's a real bummer. But yeah, thanks, man. I'd love to hear your show. And if you can share the show where you talked about live my ass off, that would be great. Because again, you're part of it. It's not like you're like sharing about this guy Mike who has a show. It's like you're sharing about the Cool Kids table, where because Robin shows up, like it's better, right? So I don't know. I think people think I'm crazy when they're like, oh, Mike, rose-colored glasses. I did appreciate, actually. It was a very valid statement someone recently posted there. It was on a live stream, and they said, if you wear rose-colored glasses, you can't see red flags. And I agree. You know, I'm sure that there's times in my life where it's like, oh man, had I really been a little bit more aware or open, or not just so positive, or I'd not necessarily been negative, but I've been like a little bit more realistic maybe, and not just had everything's going to turn out like the fantasy world that I wanted to. Yeah, maybe I would have seen that red flag earlier, and I would have not been, I don't know, take taken advantage of or something like that. But honestly, looking back, like the way that I behaved in every single scenario, especially the ones where I've made a mistake or lost money or whatever, I'd do it all over again. I just prefer living this way. It's just better, you know? I mean, again, I don't wear blinders, okay? I don't like walk into open sewer grates, okay? You know, but I don't know. It's just the way I live, and so far so good. And I also like to think that it's one of the things that potentially attracted Gracie to me. She was probably like, because if you don't know, I mean, again, if you guys have ever thought this, and I don't blame you for thinking this, you're like, oh, Gracie's probably with Mike because he's wealthy, right? And I'm not wealthy, but you know what I mean, compared to like a Filipino farmer. And that is so far from the case. The boyfriend that she had before me was a billionaire, okay? And she left him because she was unhappy. I looked this guy up. He's from Atlanta, and he died. He's died since then. But you know, so I mean, she's like, look, I mean, she's got her own business. You know, I mean, there's some things in her life that is because of the team, and there's plenty of stuff in my life because of the team. Believe me. The amount of happiness that I had prior, I mean, that wasn't like I left California in desperation because I wanted to move to Thailand. It was like, okay, yeah, things are annoying and I want to move to Thailand, but I want to move where Gracie is. And, you know, I can't buy that, you know? And so, anyway, that was really cool. Oh man, see, I was hoping the wind would go away and then, or not the wind, but the rain. But now the crows are back. I bet you there's, like, if I were to look at a satellite photo, I bet you, like, the clouds are just, like, swirling around on top of Lumpini Park. and it's just one of these deals where it's like calm before the storm, eye of the hurricane, and just wait, Mike. So, I don't know. I have a feeling that, I don't know, there's people walking that have like, you know, that have like full clothes on. And they're not like running, you know, away from the raindrops. And so I'm guessing they're probably, I don't know, when the crows come back and make noise, it seems like that's an indication I should stay put. I don't know, who knows, who cares, right? Yeah, that is very cool. That is very cool. I really appreciate that. By looking up, did you mean you stalked him for a few months? Yeah, absolutely. Indeed I did. Yeah, there you go. Nice. I think I'm going to go for a walk. So I am going to switch to the... Well, I'm going to go for a walk, but I'm going to have my umbrella at the ready just in case it gets wet because I don't want to have to damage my phone. Obviously, the easy thing to do would be to just shut the phone off, but what fun is that, right? All right, so let's see. I need to put stuff away first. So this goes in here because there's still 27 of you watching, so it'll be cool maybe if we do a live stream. And if it gets really bad and like the video starts jittering or whatever, then I'll just shut it down. But you know, most of the places I go in Lumpini, there's decent coverage. So, all right. And I'm always cautious about wearing my glasses when it's raining because then I just wear them and I end up I can't see because of the raindrops, man. All right. So. Mighty plastic bags of success, and I'm gonna dismount from this one and I'm gonna go over here and go on the gimbal that, if you guys don't know, the reason I have this gimbal is because you guys bought it for me basically, which was awesome. All right, there we go, and we'll turn it on and level, boom. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, forgot to put one thing away. I have certain bags that I put certain things. This thing goes in the bag that doesn't really matter if it gets wet. So I'll do that. Oh, Rob's here, if you don't know. He's in Bangkok, right? And I'm sure right now he's physically here. I'm sure he's not in Lumpini. He's probably, oh, he's going to have dinner with Fawn tonight, so I don't know where they're going. But if you guys are Rob fans, it seems like a lot of you that are Rob fans are Fawn fans. And so that'll be kind of cool. I don't know, I mean, I'm pretty confident he and I are going to connect. But I got interviews I'm doing all day. Well, I got my the live stream with Jared. Ah, damn it. It was looking so good there for a while. Oh, well. Level this out a little bit. How's that? There we go. Never seen you here before. No, but elsewhere plenty. I have to go, mate. Hope to see you on Sunday. Ah, Andy, thank you so much for coming by, man. I really appreciate it. Money over, honeys. What are you referring to, sir? I live by Don Muang. Oh, hey, Kevin, right on. Just got hit by the afternoon storm. Okay, so hopefully it's moving northward, and you just got it, and I had it before. So, Dennis says, Mike, I know you've done Vietnam and the Philippines. Have you ever visited or lived in Malaysia? What's your opinion on there, please? So Gracie and I like to say that we've given Malaysia a fair shot. We have lived like long-term, no. But again, Thailand is basically where I've lived since November. Prior to that, Gracie and I would travel, and as you mentioned, you've seen me do other things. So, have I lived full-time, set up residency? No. But I've traveled, and I've been in those locations for weeks at a time. We've done KL twice, Kuala Lumpur, and we did Penang Island and Langkawi. I preferred Langkawi. It's smaller. Penang, the main city there, I think it's called Georgetown. I might be thinking of something else. I just watched a video on Bermuda, and of course that is Georgetown. But anyway, we did that, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it as much as I liked Vietnam or Thailand. It was just a different feeling. Oh, here comes the Don Muang storm. I can't see the comments actually if I wear my glasses. So clearly I'm not wearing my glasses. Let me put this pen away here. Yeah, so I believe we gave it a shot. We stayed in places, we walked around, we rented a car, we drove around, we did the tourist attractions, we did the beaches by ourselves that weren't tourist attractions. We, okay, wait, who was the one who told me about the storm? Kevin. Kevin, is that storm moving south? Because I think I may... Plus, I'm the only one around here, which kind of indicates to me that everyone else has been like, dude, are you kidding me? Have you heard what's been going on in Don Juan? I've been here before. No, I think he was referring to someone, well, regardless, but yeah. We're Fawn fans here, because she is so cute. Anyway, Andy, thank you for a lot. I really appreciate you coming by. But if I'm not... if you know anything about the Cool Kids Table money over, honey, you're absolutely welcome here, dude. We're glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, I mean, just, you know, just be normal, right? Don't be a jerk. And I'm sure you're not, so you're good. Like, is that a... Like, is that an emergency that I'm listening to? Like, is that what she's saying? I would think that they'd say it in English just in case. Yeah, it's not looking good. What if they're closing the park? I can't imagine they closed the park. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut it down. Ah, what a drag. Everything's gonna get wet. All right, you guys, I love you. It's my ass off time. said, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, there's a high likelihood you got stuck in a storm in Bangkok. Oh my God, I'll talk to you later, bye.